Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I have a very special guest. His name is Patrick Day. You may remember him from Ernest Goes to Camp. He played Bobby Wayne, the leader of the juvenile delinquent group that Ernest has to look after. And he was also in Hollywood Hot Tubs 2 with my good friend Jules Shepard. Oh, this is gonna be so awesome! Right now, he's like the dean of the young actor space in L.A. and stuff. And this is going to be really exciting. You get to interview Bobby Wayne from Ernest Goes to Camp. It's going to be so great. Oh, so Happy New Year, everybody. We lost Heather Menzies over Christmas weekend from The Sound of Music and Logan's Run, and she was married to Robert Urich. Rest in peace. I tried to get her for an interview, but she passed on before I could ever get a chance to and stuff, and that was really sad. But I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And Patrick should be calling any moment now. So this is going to be pretty cool. I hope 2018 will be a better year in terms of deaths because there was too many people dying in Hollywood in 2016 and 2017. And 2018 should be a better year. Let's pray and hope. Okay, so Patrick will be calling any moment now. There he is. Oh. Here it is. Hey, Patrick.
Hi, Tommy.
How you doing?
I'm doing swell. Thanks for asking. Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview today. I've been a fan of you for a long time.
Oh, well, thank you, man. That's nice to be here.
Absolutely. So was Ernest Goes to Camp your first movie?
No, sir. I was fortunate enough as a kid to be kept in a name search when I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, and really had no idea of anything really much about acting. I'd watch my dad do commercials periodically, and they came to town called Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And I went to this audition, and 2 auditions later, I'm in New York, and 6 weeks later, I'm in Kentucky shooting a 4-hour miniseries for PBS, which had a great all-star cast in it, and it was really life-affirming and changing for me, especially at that age, growing up in Nashville. So that was my first big role.
Nice. And then how did you get to do Ernest Goes to Camp?
Well, life sort of changed for me at that point. I was 16 years old, but I looked like I was 12 years old. And as I said, growing up in Nashville, really sports was the only thing you could do. And I remember coming back from my holiday break or my summer break in 8th grade, and all my grown-ups foot because they'd reached puberty and I had not. So they were like, "You can't play football." Why not? I used to be a linebacker. And they're like, "Well, you weigh 60 pounds." So I found something else, and that was acting. And then once I did Finn, sort of offers started coming around, and I was doing a lot of theater and doing commercials. And then Ernest Goes to Camp was casting. Went to a couple of auditions for that, and luckily they booked me in that as well. So that was wonderful.
Yeah, and wasn't the movie independently produced, but then Disney bought it?
From my understanding, what happened was it was being independently produced. I recently read John Cherry's book. If you haven't had a chance to do that and you are a fan of Ernest Goes to Camp, you should check it out. It's called Keeper of the Clown, and they talk about all of the going on. We were kids at the time, so for me, I wasn't sure what was going on. But yeah, when I first got cast, it was going to be this sort of local film. Then there was whispers of Disney taking it over, and then there was a subsidiary of Disney at the time called Touchstone, and they were going to be the rebellious side of Disney in the mid-'80s. And
good stories about Jim Varney?
Oh, dude, he really super smart. As crazy as you would think he would be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was just as rowdy as could be, and he sort of took me under his wing, you know, being the boys in the movie and being from Nashville, and there were several times after that. Well, I'll tell you one story in particular. I remember one Christmas shortly after we shot, he called and he said, "We're going to the Third Coast," which was this bar that they used to frequent. And I want you to come down. While we were shooting Ernest Goes camp, he had a ring on his finger, really admired. It was of the Comedy and Tragedy mask, and he'd gotten it over in Europe because he had some family members over in Europe. And I showed this bar, and, you know, he'd been drinking, and the rest of the cast were drinking, and he came to me and said, "Patrick, I got you a present." And I opened this thing up. He had his ring molding made of it. They had to sort of cut it and make a molding, and he made a ring copy of his ring, which he gave to me, which I still have to this day.
Oh, that's great.
Which was just so sweet of him. I mean, he was brilliant, and what most people don't know is how smart the man was. I remember shooting, and he'd be like, "It's going to rain in an hour." I'm like, "Jim, how do you know?" And he'd look over at me and go, "Oh, well, it's leaves on the trees. They're upside down. That tells you rain's coming." So he knew a lot of not only stuff growing up in the country, but also he was very book smart. He would chair and recite Shakespeare before he'd turn into Ernest.
Yeah.
On set. So.
Oh, that is cool. And
yeah, man, he's a super nice guy. And I remember he had a DeLorean at the time, and those were the new cars. And he showed up to set, and he was just like, "Look at my new ride." And I couldn't believe it because it was the first time I'd sat in a DeLorean, and I, was a big fan due to Back to the Future and everything. He's like, "You got to peel the ladies off of this thing when you get home at night." "I need a spatula because it's made of sterling silver."
Yeah, he was a funny guy.
And then I'll never forget, years later, I was living out here in L.A., and I was on the Universal lot, and I had not seen him in a while, and he was doing Beverly Hillbillies at the time. Remember that film?
Yeah.
And they were having a screening, and I just happened to be walking out. He saw me from across the crowd, and he was like, "Patrick," I was separately at Universal. I think it was an audition for something else. He was like, "Patrick," and he came with all the cameras and everything, came over, gave me a big hug. He's like, "We got it together." And, so he was just one of those guys that was just so open, too,
Yeah.
Crazy, but so open and kind and so fucking funny. I can't say enough nice things about him.
Yeah, he was a great guy, and he's just sadly missed. I couldn't believe it when he passed.
Well, and I'll tell you, Tommy, when we were shooting, he was a chain smoker.
Yeah.
And a lot of us were in the 80s. And he would say, I don't believe this thing about this. I think there's been a cure for cancer for years now, and there's just too much money in fighting it.
Yeah.
He goes, and he made great. He's like, we invent penicillin, the wonder, in somebody's closet from mold. And yet we've been putting billions and billions and billions of dollars into cancer research, and we can't find a way to at least, fight it or cure it, He's like, "I think there's more curing it than there isn't." And so, ironically, within 10 years, it cost him his life,
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. And the movie, too, has an unlikely great cast. I mean, you got John Vernon and Iron Eyes Cody and Lyle Alzado, who I heard was a dick to everybody.
And I didn't get that. I have a Lyle Alzado story for you. He was so nice to us as the campers. Now, we were the kids.
Uh-huh.
He was so nice. I'll never forget him saying, "Come up to the hotel room and watch Splat," all in awe, because, he was the beast. And then years later, I was out in L.A., and I was working on a short-lived series.
Yeah.
And Lyle Alzado, the week that our show was either or it was the second season was premiering, and, you get these notes from publicists going, "There's an event, and we'd like you to go do it." Alzado's, which was a restaurant he had opened on La Cienega, in West Hollywood, middle of everything. I was like, I got to go to this event because I worked with Lyle. I haven't seen Ernest Goes to camp. It's been a couple of years, but I need to go. And, dude, and this is me being, as I say, young, dumb, and full of cum, like you're 20 years old and you think you know everything in the world.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and line, and everybody's taking pictures, and I see him kind of looking at me. Now, I'd grown up a little bit. It was like 4 later. And I remember talking to my friend who was on the show with me, and I'm like, Lyle doesn't recognize me, and I'm mad at him. I can't believe that. We had such good times together and all this stuff, and I was saying this stuff like you said, like what a dick he is and all this. And 2 weeks later, I went back into the restaurant after the premiere, and he came right up to me. Patrick, I said, I was here 2 weeks ago. What? You were there? He said, I thought I recognized you, but it was so crazy. I'm so sorry. And man, I wonder if this was the beginning of what we're hearing about with all these athletes with the brain damage that's been caused.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if that was early onset of him kind of recognizing but not knowing. I can't prove that. That wasn't as prevalent in 1990, 1991. People weren't talking about all these athletes that we've known now to go on, and some of them commit suicide or, from this brain damage. And I just wonder, I always wondered if that had something to do with it, because he looked very clear to me the second time I went into his restaurant and saw him. And that first night, it was not all there,
Yeah. Wow. Do you keep in contact with the rest of the kids?
Several of them. I met some of my best friends to this day. Scott Menville, who, he played Crutchfield. He's doing great. He's on Teen Titans now. He's the voice of Robin, if you ever follow that cartoon. He was Captain Planet, and he's also doing On Camera. A super nice guy. I actually went with him a couple weeks ago before the holidays up to Portland, Oregon. My friend Andrew Woodworth, who was Pennington in the movie. We both went up to visit him in Oregon, and Scott has a couple children, and I have a daughter now, and they're friends, so I'm so grateful and blessed that I had the opportunity to do that film, because I've met some of my best friends for life from that movie.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because mostly you do a movie or a TV show or something, and you never see each other again, or if you do, it's like once or twice, like years later, like if you're doing like a reunion or something.
Different dynamic, and it's weird, but no, not. I think, and it also might have been those developmental for us too,
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of it has to do with was just such a nice guy, and it was so funny, and none of us had any idea how big that movie was going to be. We thought it was just going to be some movie that wasn't going to go anywhere, and it wound up becoming. It's so weird to me, because even at this day, I'm almost a 50-year-old man. I was at the Trader Joe's about a year and a half ago. The guy was working at Trader Joe's and came up to me and was, were you and Ernest Goes to camp? And I was like, really? You recognize me? Holding a beard, and from that he's like, yeah, it was just I have such fond memories of that movie. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. I'm just so shell-shocked that you would even put two together. I'm just here shopping with my kid.
Yeah. Now, that series you mentioned, were you talking about Tribes?
Yes. Wow. Yes.
Yeah, I remember that show before it got canceled.
Do you really?
Yeah, it was very bold, I remember.
Yeah, it was. What they were doing was, and history told us, they were test marketing 90210, because it was in the early stages of Fox. There had never been like Oak before, and so we shot. I think we got up to 92 episodes. We were just about to finish the season. And I'll never forget, man, we were in the middle of a scene, and our producer, Dennis Steinmetz, who went on to produce the Mickey Mouse Club with Britney Spears, kids that were in the Justin Timberlake and all that, that was his next job at Tribes. Because I remember him going, I got another gig in Florida. Anyway, we were shooting, and Dennis comes down, he goes, okay, we're done. And I was like, Dennis, we didn't finish our dialogue. He goes, no, we're done. They just pulled the plug. In the middle of a scene. And we're on Sunset Gower, you're working on a show and you're working on it for almost a year, driving on the lot, you're waving at the security guy, hey Patrick, good morning, go to your parking space, and you have your own parking space. Within an hour, Tommy, they had the security guards from the Gower on the set making sure that the actors and the crew were not stealing shit.
Wow.
It was such a brutal end to, that was our home. We had moved in there. We had been working for almost a year. We had posters in our rooms and windows and all this shit. And they're like, you got to get your stuff out of here. It was just such a turn of the tides,
Wow.
How brutal a production can be.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it like working with Jill Whitlow?
I think she was on one. I remember meeting her and having a huge crush on her.
Yeah.
She was so hot and so friendly and sweet. And then I don't know if she went into season 2 or not. We sort of lost touch when she wasn't on the show anymore.
Yeah, she was one of my first interviews, and she was such a sweet and pleasant lady. I mean, I enjoyed talking to her.
That smile would, warm the cuckolds of your heart.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she was in Night of the Creeps and all these, 80s movies, Porky's and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
She hasn't changed, and she hasn't aged either.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, if you do talk to her, please tell her I said hello. I remember going over to her house one night. When we first got the show, she was having a park place over on Laurel Canyon, and it was I was somewhat new to LA. I was going to see, so it was a different part of I remember driving up Laurel Canyon. It was really the first I'd been up in that area and trying to find parking at her house. And Laurel Canyon is basically, if you're not familiar, it's like the valley to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it gets so crowded, and I couldn't believe that they could put a house on this street. It's like, where do I park? I want to go to Jill's party. She probably has no memory of that. I remember it really affected me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So then you did Hollywood Hot Tubs 2, and I have to say it's one of my favorite movies. And the first time I saw this, I was like 7 years old. I was watching it late at night on Cinemax.
Skinemax at the time, probably.
Yep. And to this day, I have never seen a dynamic and electrifying chemistry between two unlikely people like you and Jules Shepard.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Those were good times, man.
Yeah, you're so funny in this movie. Like, you sell every line and every joke. I still quote.
When we first auditioned for it, it was under the title Eduking Crystal.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't want to release that it was going to be a sequel to Hollywood's One. So I didn't even know it was a sequel movie until about my first week of shooting. And say, man, because there was, I think they had a prop van. One of the characters drove a van, and it said HHT2 on it. And I was talking to Jewel, and I was like, what is this HHT2? She's like, oh, well, this movie is a sequel. I said, oh, really? She's like, yeah. I said, well, what is HHT? She goes, Hollywood Hot Tubs. I said, I've never heard of that. And then it was a moment that I realized I was in some sort of Skinemax movie. I had no idea. And we were 2 weeks to shoot.
Wow. Yeah, to this day, I still quote a lot of your lines, like, whose ego wagon, nice wank tanks you got here, stuff like that.
Yeah, and of course, they were kind enough to let my roommate at the time, Buddy Sam, we wrote a rap for the closing credits, if you remember it all.
Yeah.
There's a rap that that's my buddy Sam and I. We wrote that and sang that, so I was like, cool, I get to record, too, and move the soundtrack.
Wow, I never knew that. Wow, that's crazy. Was there a lot of rehearsal, because the scenes between you and Jewel are so well thought out?
I don't know how much much it was in terms of rehearsal, because it wasn't a big budget film, but we certainly, as I like to always do, when I get together before and we'd run together, not necessarily with the director, but we just sort of would get together and bond and have those bonding moments and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've met Jewel twice, and I've hung out with her. She's a lot of fun.
Isn't she fun?
Yeah. She's very funny. Yeah, she tells it like it is. I just adore her.
No nonsense, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure you two must have laughed a lot.
A lot of laughter. Here's a little known fact. I don't know if she mentioned this to you, but the scene where Bart Braverman, who's not deceased, during the wedding, I think he's sitting at a table.
Yeah.
And I forget what it was. It's an exterior scene. Mm-hmm. And in the middle of the scene, we were running lines and we were doing his coverage, and he had a seizure.
Wow.
And he started like chanting, and because he was wearing glasses like he wore throughout the whole thing, no one knew he was seizuring. We thought he was just kind of like fucking around. And I was kind of joking back and forth with him. I'm like, I think that's fine. And he's like doing this sort of business with his hand and chanting in a sense. Mm-hmm. And he came out of it. He was like, I just had a seizure. And we were kidding because, like I said, he was glasses. And he goes, were you recording that? Uh-huh. They were like, yeah, this was on camera. This was your coverage. He goes, can I hear it back? And he listened back to it because he was seizing, he had no idea what he was saying or doing. And he listened to the whole thing back, and I was at a wedding this weekend, and I think I'm chanting a song that I heard at the wedding. Mm-hmm. I have no idea because I've never seen myself having a seizure before.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah. Crazy shit, man.
Yeah. Wow. And I love the scene where you and Jewel are at the hot dog stand with Tony Cox, and Rob Garrison is naked and he needs a hot dog bun for his dick. Love that.
We shot that at there was a famous place out here called Tale of the Pup, which is no longer, but it was a hot dog stand. I had no idea that it was so well known. I bet if you Google it, you can find images of it that had been around. And we shot that thing broad daylight. I couldn't believe Rob was doing that in the middle of daylight because we're right in the heart of Beverly Hills. I don't think we'd get away with it.
Yeah. Is it true that the movie was supposed to be released theatrically, but it didn't because Jose Menendez died?
Oh, I don't know. There's a very good chance it could have been.
That's what Jewel told me.
It could, I don't know. She was much tighter, obviously, with the director-writer because she had done the first one. Mm-hmm. So I could see where that would be. That's certainly possible. Was he an investor on it?
Yeah, because it was what's international video, which was interlinked with live video.
Wow, I had no idea. See, now you're teaching me stuff.
Yeah, just my research.
Good.
Yeah, one thing I love about Jewel's performance in this movie is that in the first one, she's just a sex object. She's just hanging around, basically, in the first one. But because she's the focal point in this one, she brings a sense of empathy and understanding to Crystal that, was lacking in the first one. And she just does a great job in it.
Yeah, you care, Mm-hmm. You have to care. If you don't care, you're doing watching the movie,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember for like 15 years, I couldn't go into a video store without seeing it on the shelf.
Oh, dude, and I have to tell you something funny. I told you about the fact that I didn't know it was a sequel.
Yeah.
So before I left Tennessee, I was always one of those guys that, like, I'd do a movie and then I'd get a real bullshit job because I wanted to keep my head straight,
Yeah.
So in between moving out here to LA and after Ernest Goes to Camp, I was working at my local grocery store bagging groceries, like teenagers do. you know. Thank
Yeah.
God my parents made me do something like that. They could save my life. So I know the people at the local Kroger.
Yeah.
And then I moved to LA, and about years later, that movie comes out on video, and it is everywhere. So
Yeah.
here I go walking back into Kroger. These people didn't know I was also an actor, really.
Mm-hmm.
And there's my face holding up Jules Top on the outside of this video for Hot Tubs 2.
Yeah.
And as I said, you know, I grew up in the deep South, man. Not something that was your mom wanted her neighbors to see. So I got a bunch of shit. I'll never forget going back like, oh, this is the kind of movies you're doing.
Oh my God. Yeah. So when did the young actor space come into your life?
Well, so let's see. I graduated from college. Oddly enough, when I first came out to do Ernest Goes to camp, Scott Menville said, I want you to come to my acting class. And so I did. And I came and I was blown by the stuff that was going on here at Young Actor Space.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't know what it was because I was only out here for a week doing looping, and I went back to Nashville and I was doing play, my regular job like I was talking about. Then I moved back out here. I went through college. I knew I wanted to be a director, and I knew I'd always loved to teach. I asked my agent if a school in town that she recommended.
Yeah.
Because I had gone out trying on my own for certain places, and a lot of them, they come in and go, oh, well, you have a resume as an actor, so you're hired. And I'm like, you don't even know what I can do as a teacher. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. We're going to teach a 6-week class on slating at all these other places. There was like, these are real stories that happened at some of these other schools who I will not name.
Yeah.
Then I went to my agent, I said, I need to find a space. And she recommended Young Actor Space. And I walked in here and heard the stuff that Diane, who had started this school, Diane Harden, and I was like, dude, we're not teaching this at USC. We're teaching the real nuts and bolts. And, you know, back then it was 90s, late 80s class, and there was always a family on TV. There were a lot of kids, and even though there were 4 shows, you were seeing a lot of the familiar faces in these rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started working here with Diane. I started teaching about 94, 95, and I just sort of knew I was home.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 5 years later, I'm sitting in the office, like, oh my God, this is the place that Scott Menville brought me to all those years ago that I was looking for. I had no idea that I'd been in the same place for that long.
Wow.
And so now, you know, when the economy tanked in 2008, Nora, who had taken over for Diane running the space, was like, okay, we're done. You know, either a time to become a businessman and not be a hippie like you've been your whole life, or another career. And so I took over in 2008, and it's arguably it's probably the second best decision I ever made in my life. I feel so secure and, you know, put other people on TV now and in movies and stuff. We just had our first Oscar winner.
Oh, that's
this
great.
Year because Emma Stone, yeah. So.
Wow, that's great.
Phone is dying.
Yeah, I've heard so many great things about the Young Actor Space. That's why I want to take a class when I move out there next year.
Yeah, hold on one second. I have to switch phones because I think this one's dying. Okay, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm back. Yeah, you should get out. There's a really great energy going around here, and we have cool people. We keep the classes really small, and you know, you should get in with some of these adult actors that are out here because they're pretty remarkable. I feel lucky every day to do what I do here and feel like work. So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, you know, in the competitive world of acting, you know, at least you have this and you can, you know, bring what you've learned, you know, to other people.
Yeah, and I'm still out there working. I had a couple indies that, you know, I got one coming out this year, and had one that came out last year, the circuit, and got pretty good release, and, you know, but I feel I can't really teach unless I'm still acting.
Mm-hmm.
Because how can I talk about technique? Because this industry is constantly changing. If you'd have told me, first of all, if you'd have told 30 years ago that Will Smith was going to be the highest paid actor, I'd have laughed in your face. And then if you would have told me years ago that Will's going to do a movie, I'd have laughed even harder in your face.
Yeah.
So this industry is constantly changing, and in order to be on the forefront of it, you got to be in it.
Right.
On the front lines of it, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you like indie film, see if you check out a movie called Favor. Really like it. This buddy of mine, Paul Osborne, directed and wrote it. It's sort of a creepy psychological thriller about two buddies.
Are you in it?
Yeah, I'm one of the leads in it, and my other buddy Blaine Weaver's in it.
Nice. I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it.
Absolutely. I thank you so much, Patrick, for taking the time to do this interview today.
My pleasure, Tommy. Thank you for reaching out.
Absolutely. And yeah, next year, you know, I'll be out there and stuff. And, you know, I'll keep in contact with you. I'll send you the link to this and everything.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Awesome.
Best of luck to you. Happy 2018.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you, too.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Patrick Day. Ain't he a cool dude? Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate the time you took today in your busy schedule. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share this video all you want. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I already said that, but I say it again because it's very important. Well, that's all the time we have today on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.